Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my friends. God's blessings upon you. Let's praise the Lord together, my friends. We have all awakened in God's shelter. Now we've come to praise His name together. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good my friends. My friends. Sing Hosanna. Hosanna. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Allah pa ya la pa. In the sanctuary of our Lord's protection and the stronghold of our Lord's defense. With His love our spirits are illumined as we glorify His name. Our hearts are blessed. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my friend. My friend. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my friend. My friend. Good morning. Good morning. That's probably where I would prefer it. And now I'll stop the drum.
Excuse me.
So good morning, everyone. Hello, how's everyone doing?
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Ingrid and Vicky and Nini and Nevada. And good morning, everyone in Facebook. I mean, not in Facebook. I'll speak to the Facebook people last. But who's in Zoom? I can't see the little icons there. We see some folks in Zoom. Good morning. How's everyone doing there? Jeremiah, my eyes are old. I can't see them, so it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And everyone in Facebook, how you doing? Whether you're here at the time that we are actually putting this devotion together or happen to stream it later on, we hope you're doing well. How you doing, Daryl?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
Let's just move on. I'm fine. I'm fine. I didn't say hello to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, how are you? Normally he would be here. He's not on site. He's actually elsewhere, but normally we would get a thumbs up. So we're going to imagine we see a thumbs up from Jeremiah. Yeah, we're going to imagine a thumbs up. But we're going to go ahead and begin. Daryl, have you chosen a prayer to get us started this morning?
I have chosen a prayer to get us started.
Well, please.
Create in me a pure heart, oh my God.
Stop. And I say that because normally I say, Daryl, do you have a prayer? And you do. And I actually thought for a moment, I think I'd like to hear "Create in Me a Pure Heart." Earlier this morning, I'm telling you, it's true. I probably should not have stopped you to point that out, but probably shouldn't have. But um, please,
You're fired.
please.
Create in me a pure heart, O my God, and renew a tranquil conscience within me, O my hope. Through the spirit of power, confirm thou in me thy cause, O my best beloved, and by the light of thy glory reveal unto me thy path, O thou the goal of my desire. Through the power of thy transcendent might, lift me up into the heaven of thy holiness, O source of my being, and by the breezes of thine eternity gladden me, O thou who art my God. Let thine everlasting melodies breathe tranquility on me, O my companion, and let the riches of thine ancient countenance deliver me from all except thee, O my master. And let the tidings of the revelation of thine incorruptible essence bring me joy, O thou who art the most manifest of the manifest and the most hidden of the hidden. This is a prayer by Baha'u'llah.
Thank you, Daryl. Thank you very much. Now, as you know, if you've been joining us, we have been reading the seven valleys and the four valleys. And Daryl, I had said a couple of weeks back, we don't really, I fixed this up. Well, do we really need to do the four valleys? It's, it's kind of I thought, sort of a shorter, kind of a synoptic version of the seven valleys, but it
It
isn't.
is
It's
not.
actually quite different.
It is.
Yeah,
You're
so
right.
I think it would be pertinent for us to go into the four valleys when we finish the seven valleys, but because I was completely wrong about that, um, which is not unusual. Um, but we're going to continue today in the Valley of Unity. I thought that it would be good if we had a quick little recap. Remember that the seven valleys is basically a very beautiful um, explanation of the spiritual journey that we go through, or that one goes through as they try and become closer to God. Now, while
In this case, specifically, that Baha'u'llah went through.
yes. Oh, well, see, now that again, I didn't know. I thought it was more of a general thing. Um, but one thing that is pointed out is the fact that while these things are talked about are listed in a certain sequence, the seeker might not actually go through them in this order. But again, I guess for the sake of discussion and for the fact, because of the fact that this is the way it was revealed, we're going through them in this order, and it's the way it is in the book. But we are right now in the Valley of Unity. And I'm just going to go do a quick little recap of the previous valleys based on this, again, this other source. The Seven Valleys by Baha'u'llah is like a map for your soul's journey to connect with the divine. It's not about physical places, but about the different stages you go through as you grow spiritually. And here's a breakdown in modern terms. First, you have the Valley of Search. Okay. This is where you start looking for something deeper in life. And you realize that the everyday stuff just isn't enough. And you begin to ask the big questions. It's about being open minded, patient, and willing to step outside your comfort zone. And I can tell you, I know someone right now that I often talk to that really is having. I feel like he's struggling because he's so connected uh, with the material world. He actually dismisses even the need for the divine. That's the valley of search. You decide to start searching. Let's put it that way. The second valley is the valley of love. This is when you fall head over heels in love with the idea of something greater than yourself. This love isn't always comfortable, it can be passionate, intense, and even a little painful. It's a love that makes you want to change and grow. Next, we have the valley of knowledge. This is the third valley, the valley of knowledge. This isn't just about facts and figures, it's about gaining a deeper understanding of yourself, the world, and your place in it. It's about seeing through illusions and recognizing the truth. And finally, where we are now, this is where we're just in the fourth valley, which is the valley of unity. The valley of unity. Remember, this is on this spiritual journey. You start to see how everything is connected. And you realize that we're all part of something bigger and that there's a common thread running through all of existence. It's about breaking down the barriers that separate us and embracing our shared humanity. It's about breaking down the barriers that separate us and embracing our shared humanity. So there's just a brief little synopsis of these valleys that we have gone through as far as reading the book. And right now we're still in the valley of unity. So, Daryl, would you like to
Sure, I'm going
get
to
us
back
started?
up just a little bit.
Please, yes, that'd be a good idea.
It says, "How shall a curtain part the lover and the loved one? Not Alexander's wall can separate them. Secrets are many, but strangers are myriad. Volumes will not suffice to hold the mystery of the beloved one, nor can it be exhausted in these pages, although it be no more than a word, no more than a sign. Knowledge is a single point, but the ignorant have multiplied it. On this same basis, ponder likewise the differences among the worlds. Although the divine worlds be never ending, yet some refer to them as four, the number four. The world of time, Zaman, which is the one that hath both a beginning and an end. The world of duration, Dar, which hath a beginning, but whose end is not revealed. The world of perpetuity, Sarmad, whose beginning is not to be seen, but which is known to have an end. And the world of eternity, Azal, neither a beginning nor an end of which is visible. Although there are many differing statements as to these points, to recount them in detail would result in weariness. Thus, some have said that the world of perpetuity hath neither a beginning nor end, and have named the world of eternity as the invisible, impregnable Empyrean. Empyrean being the highest level of heaven, or the highest level of the spiritual world. Others have called these worlds of the heavenly court Lahut, of the Empyrean heaven Jabarut, of the kingdom of the angels Malakut, and of the mortal world Nasut.
I'm stopping you right there, Daryl. You have said that's really a brief paragraph, folks. But I mean, even looking at, we all take time for granted. I mean, as far as just the existence of time. And yet, in this brief paragraph, we are presented with four different aspects of time. And he gives us, I guess these terms are what, Arabic or Persian?
Arabic.
Okay, Arabic terms. It says the world of time, which is the one that hath both a beginning and an end. That's pretty easy to wrap our brains around because that's kind of the world we live in. You think of things having a start and having a stop, having an ending, no matter how that ending may come about. The world of okay, the world of again, the world of time, which is the one that has both a beginning and an end. The world of duration, which has a beginning, but whose end is not revealed. So I guess when you don't know how things, when you're in the middle of something, I don't know, folks. Again, I always like to point out I have no authority. This is me trying to figure it out. Okay, the world of duration, which has a beginning, but whose end is not revealed. I guess we can kind of think of our life as like that.
Sure,
You don't know how
that's
long
right.
you're going to live. You generally don't know. Most people don't know how the end of their life will come about. But then you have the world of duration. I'm sorry, the world of perpetuity, whose beginning is not to be seen, but which is known to have an end. So you didn't see it how it started, and you know it's going to end, but I guess once again you don't know how. Again, I'm trying to wrap my brain around this. Anyone who wants to add something in, maybe in the Zoom, or if you'd like to put a note in Facebook, You can. I'd love it if you could help us out with this. And then you have the world of eternity. Think about what it says about the world of eternity. No beginning, and
No,
well, it says neither a beginning nor an end of which is visible. Does that mean there is no end, or you just can't see it? I don't know.
it's not visible. You can't see it.
Okay. And well, I'm doing exactly what he says. Don't bother doing. He says, although there are many differing statements as to these points, to recount them in detail would result in weariness. I guess you're probably feeling a little weary right now. I apologize. But then he goes on, thus some have said that the world of perpetuity has neither beginning nor end, and have named the world of eternity as the invisible, impregnable Empyrean, and as you pointed out, the spiritual realm, highest level of the spiritual realm. I'm glad you said that. And he says others have called these the worlds of the heavenly court, of the Empyrean heaven, of the kingdom of angels, and of the mortal world. Again, this is, I guess you could take a whole semester and still not exhaust the possible interpretations of this. It's just some of these things I dwell on them because I look at them, and even if I don't understand them, I certainly want more insight. But a lot of times we see them and we go past them, and then when we come back, we can even discover more. So pardon me if I if I, no part not pardon me if pardon me for belaboring it. Go ahead, please, Daryl.
The journeys in the pathway of love are not reckoned as four. We just covered the
No, it
four
says are reckoned as four.
are reckoned as, oh, excuse me. The journeys in the pathway of love are reckoned as four. From the creatures to the true one, from the true one to the creatures, from the creatures to the creatures, from the true one to the true one.
I think it's pointed out. We should point out that true one is capitalized.
Capitalize.
So that's a reference to God. From the creatures to the true one, from the true one to the creatures, from the creatures to the creatures, and from the
The
true
true one
one
to the true
to the
one.
true one. So the journeys in the pathway of love to reckon as four journeys. Creatures to the true one, that's, I guess, love from God's creation to God. From the true one to the creatures, love from God to God's creation. From the creatures to the creatures, love among one another. And from the true one to the true one. I don't even want to touch
And I'm not going
that. Anyone who would like to say, okay, well, I have something I'd like to say there, please. Okay, continue, please, John.
There is many an utterance of the mystic seers and doctors of former times which I have not mentioned here, since I mislike the copious citation from sayings of the past. For quotation from the words of others proveth acquired learning, not the divine bestowal. Even so much as we have quoted here is out of deference to the wont of men and after the manner of the friends. Further, such matters are beyond the scope of this epistle. Our unwillingness to recount their sayings is not from pride, rather, it is a manifestation of wisdom and a demonstration of grace. If Kizar did not wreck the vessel on the sea, yet this wrong, yet this wrong are a thousand rights.
Wait a minute, read that again.
If Kizar did not
No,
wreck,
did wreck.
did wreck, I don't know where I'm getting these knots. If Kizar did wreck the vessel on the sea, yet in this wrong there are a thousand rights. Now I'm not sure who Kizar
Yeah,
is.
I mean, they've got
Kizar.
a footnote there, and normally at the bottom of the page they'll have where that reference is from, but that is not the case here. And so I'm looking in the back to see if it may be somewhere there. Hopefully it will be, but I'm not finding it. Um, but again, okay, there's many an utterance of the mystic seers and doctors of former times, which I haven't mentioned here. So Howell's
This
doing
is
us a
mystic,
favor.
right?
I'm not gonna bore you with all of this detail that he might deem unnecessary. I'll put
Well,
it
this
that
is
way.
mystic, so and it says that.
Yeah.
So
And he says, I don't like, I mislike the copious citation from sayings of the past. For quotation, this is what I wanted to bring our attention to. quotation from the words of others proves acquired learning, not the divine bestowal.
Right.
So you can be very, very, very educated and still not get it.
Exactly.
Even so much as we have quoted here is out of deference to the want of men. I'm just doing this because this is what men want. Out of deference to the want of men and after the manner of the friends. Okay.
It's not the want.
The
W-A.
wont.
It's the
Want,
want.
wont of men.
The
Yeah.
want of men is the accustomed
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you
of men.
pointed that out. And after the manner of the friends. It's, I like the fact that, that Baha'u'llah is pointing out, I'm trying to make this clear for you. I'm trying to make this, keep it simple. That's again my interpretation of it or my understanding. If I could be a little, but again, I don't know. Is it again? And I'm not just pretending. Is this still kind of difficult to wrap your brain around?
Of course. It's otherwise, otherwise, this servant regardeth himself as utterly lost and as nothing, even beside the one of the beloved of God. How much less in the presence of his holy ones? Exalted be my Lord, the Supreme. Moreover, our aim is to recount the stages of the wayfarer's journey, not to set forth the conflicting utterances of the mystics. There's an explanation.
Yeah. And
There's
notice that Baha'u'llah refers to himself, this servant. He's referring to himself, regards himself as utterly lost and as
nothing,
nothing.
even beside one of the beloved of God.
You talk about humility.
Yes,
That's humility.
that's humility. Although a brief example has been given concerning the beginning and ending of the relative world, the world of attributes, yet a second illustration is now added that the full meaning may be manifest. For instance, let thine eminence consider his own self. Thou art first in relation to thy son, last in relation to thy father. In thine outward appearance, thou tellest of the appearance of power in the realms of divine creation. In thine inward being, thou revealest the hidden mysteries which are the divine trust deposited within thee. And thus, firstness and lastness, outwardness and inwardness, are, in the sense referred to, true of thyself, that in these four states conferred upon thee, thou shouldst comprehend the four divine states, and that the nightingale of thine heart on all the branches of the rose tree of existence, whether visible or concealed, should cry out, he is the first and the last, the seen and the hidden.
Okay, I'm going to stop you again, Daryl. I really, up to this point, to me, most of this has been, comparatively speaking, clearer. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to say clear, but clearer. And I'm talking about my own limitations when I say that. This, for instance, let thine eminence consider his own self. Think about yourself. Let's take you for an example. You are first in relation to your son.
But in this case, eminence is also capitalized.
Right. Yeah, but
So
but I think he's
so
actually
that's not you.
uh, okay. Let your eminence consider your own self. You're first in relation to your son. You're last in relation to your father. So he's talking about an order there, father, son, etc. In your outward appearance, you tell of the, and what I'm doing, folks, is I do this when I'm reading at home. I try and this is, again, no authority. I try and the lofty language, I have to dumb it down for myself. I do. And so that's what I'm doing. It says in thine outward appearance. I saying in your outward appearance. The way you look to me, in your outward appearance, you tell of the appearance of power in the realms of divine creation. Uh, you tell of the appearance of power in the realms of divine creation. In your inward being, you reveal the hidden mysteries, which are the divine trust deposited within thee. So outwardly, you have the appearance of power. Inwardly, you reveal the hidden mysteries. Maybe there's a deeper understanding, which are the divine trust deposited within thee. In other, I don't know. I don't know. I really am asking for help here. I mean, I really am. In thine inward being, thou revealest the hidden mysteries, which are the divine trust deposited within thee. Are we talking about everyone having that ability to understand on a spiritual level? In thine inward being, thou revealest the hidden mysteries, which are the divine trust deposited within thee. Now, we all know, based on other reading,
That is God within thee.
okay, that's what I'm trying to get to.
That is God within thee.
Yeah,
Within you.
okay, okay, thank you so much. And thus, firstness and lastness, outwardness and inwardness, in the sense referred to, true of thyself, that in these four states conferred upon thee, you should comprehend the four divine states, and that the nightingale of thine heart on all the branches of the rose tree of existence, whether visible or concealed, should cry out, he is the first and the last, the seen and the hidden. Help me out here.
That's God. First, last, seen, and hidden.
So, is this saying that I'm speaking in some real gross generalities here? We've been given the capability to at least recognize or at least respond to God within us?
I think that's a fair assessment.
Respond to God within us. God is in us. It is said that God is in the heart. You know, he tells us
That's
all
right.
this stuff, the cities, the material stuff, not interested, but the kingdom of God is in the human heart. And so you have the capability, whether you respond to it or not, you at least have that capability.
And even though you don't understand it always, you have that
Yeah.
capability.
Because it says, in these four states conferred upon thee. So you have it. It's been given to you. You should comprehend the four divine states, and that the nightingale of thine heart, on all the branches of the rose tree of existence, whether visible or concealed, should cry out, he is the first and the last, the seen and the hidden. You should be able to recognize God,
Yep.
or at least God within you. Again, within our own limitations, but you still have some capability. Again, anyone who wants to help me out with that. But
But we have to go to the next
yeah, I know,
paragraph
I
here
know, I know, I know.
to bring a little bit of clarity to
Okay.
that. These statements are made in the sphere of that which is relative because of the limitations of men.
Ooh.
Otherwise, those personages who in a single step have passed over the world of the relative and the limited and dwelt on the fair plane of the absolute and pitched their tent in the worlds of authority and command have burned away these relatives in a single spark and blotted out these words with a drop of dew. And they swim in the sea of the Spirit and soar in the holy air of light. Then what life have words on such a plane that first and last, or other than these, be seen or mentioned? In this realm, the first is the last itself, and the last is but the first.
We have to remember, folks, that this is in the valley as far as on this spiritual journey. This is all in the valley of unity. So it all comes together as one. And I see you put your book down.
Yes.
That must mean it's time for a song. Hang on. I should have made this change after we switched. I always like to point out that this song called Choice Wine is, I'm going to take just a moment and read this. By God, the true one, verily the gifts of God in such profusion as to rush like a torrent, overflow as a sea, and shower as rain. Gird up thy loins, strengthen thy back, make firm thy feet, and exert thyself in quickening souls, dilating breasts, illumining insights, giving hearing to ears, and attracting hearts. Unseal the jars of the choice wine of the love of God, and give the craving ones to drink from this cup, which is overflowing with the knowledge of God. Bisharat, Tarazat, Tajalia, Ishrika, Kalimati, Verdosie, Kalimati, Verdosie, Bisharat, Tarazat, Tajalia, Ishrika, Kalimati Verdosie, Kalimati Verdosie, glad tidings, ornaments, effulgences and splendors, holy words of paradise, holy words of paradise, words revealed by my Lord, gift of life through my Lord, hidden words now revealed, choice wine now unsealed by my Lord, now unsealed by my Lord, now unsealed by my Lord, now unsealed by my Lord. In the writings of Baha'u'llah, it is written, the seal of the choice wine of his revelation hath in this day, and in his name the self-sufficing been broken. His grace is being poured out upon men. Fill thy cup and drink in his name, the most holy, the all praised. Bisharat, Tarazat, Tajalia Ishwaka Kalimati Vedosie Kalimati Vedosie words revealed by my Lord, Word of God through my Lord, hidden words now revealed, choice wine now unsealed by my Lord, 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 now unsealed by my You're right. We haven't done that in a long time.
True.
My fingers were saying things like, "Oh, where do we go now?" But that I think that was, man, I love what you do on that. So here we are about to come to the end of the Valley of Unity. And again, I want to apologize for belaboring some of these things that I'm still not sure I can even wrap my brain around. But this is according to Baha'u'llah, this is the simple the simple version. Okay. And they swim up the sea of the spirit and soar in the holy air of light. Then what life have words on such a plane that first and last?
You're in the wrong place.
I'm in the wrong. Oh, I just thought I'd started out. I know it's oh my friend, look upon thyself, right?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's not.
In thy soul of love, build thou a
Yeah, I
fire.
know, but I decided I would go back a little bit, just a
Oh,
little bit.
okay.
Yeah.
You have to tell me these things.
Okay, because I'm just thinking this description of of people who supposedly kind of wrap their brain around these things, and they swim in the sea of the spirit and solely and soar in the holy air of light. Then what life have words on such a plane that first and last or other than these can be seen or mentioned? In this realm, the first is the last itself, and the last is but the first. In thy soul of love build thou a fire, and burn all thoughts and words entire. This refers to the Sufi idea of the inner plane. Actually, that's not correct, but I mean, I'm reading a wrong footnote. But the point is, this is from actually from I think from a Persian poet. In thy soul of love, build thou a fire and burn all thoughts and words entire. O my friend, look upon thyself. Hadst thou not become a father, nor begotten a son, neither wouldst thou have heard these sayings. Now forget them all, that thou mayest learn from the master of love in the schoolhouse of oneness, and return unto God, and forsake the inner land of unreality for thy true station, and dwell within the shadow of the tree of knowledge. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I feel like I need to read that again. Look upon thyself. Hadst thou not become a father, nor begotten a son, neither wouldst thou have heard these sayings. Now forget them all, that thou mayest learn from the master of love, in capitals, God, master of love, in the schoolhouse of oneness, unity, remember, and return unto God, and forsake the inner land of unreality for thy true station, and dwell within the shadow of the tree of knowledge. O thou dear one, impoverish thyself, that thou mayest enter the high court of riches.
It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle.
Yes. Impoverish thyself, that thou mayest enter the high court of riches, and humble thy body, that thou mayest drink from the river of glory, and attain to the full meaning of the poems whereof thou hast asked. Thus it hath been made clear that these stages depend on the vision of the wayfarer. These stages depend on the vision of the wayfarer. In every city, he will behold a world. In every valley, reach a spring. In every meadow, hear a song. But the falcon of the mystic heaven hath many a wondrous carol of the spirit in his breast. And the Persian bird keepeth in his soul many a sweet Arab melody. Yet these are hidden, and hidden shall remain. If I speak forth, many a mind will shatter. And if I write, many a pen will break. And it points out that this refers to Baha'u'llah himself, who had not yet declared his mission at this point. If I speak forth, many a mind will shatter, and if I write, many a pen will break. Peace be upon him who concludeth this exalted journey and followeth the true one by the lights of guidance. And the wayfarer, after traversing the high plains of the supernal journey, entereth the valley of contentment, which we will continue next
Next week.
week. Yes, I wish we had more time. I know, again, I know I've already said this, but of all these valleys we've been through, this valley of unity, this valley of oneness, to me is the most complex in the
It is.
explanation. I mean, it started out to me, I could kind of understand it, but now you get but how I got so deep that I have to go back and reread this. And I don't mean to make sense of it, but just to try, to the extent that I am able, try and get as deep an understanding as I possibly can. Because this is where you're supposed to see everything as one.
Yes.
And at this point, as always, we always like to allow anyone who would like to share a prayer or a reading or song of your choosing. This is that time. So whoever would like to,
Okay.
please feel free. And I see two people.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll volunteer.
uh,
Go
and
ahead and let Andy do his thing.
oh, Andy's here today. Okay, well, Andy, please.
Sure.
Glad you're here.
Hey,
Jeremiah, could you possibly put our Zoom in the gallery mode so we could see everyone in the bigger square, please? Please, Andy. We're so glad you're here.
oh God, my heart's desire. 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 Is there any remover of difficulties save God? Say, praise be God, He is God. All are His servants, and all abide by His bidding. Say, God sufficeth all things above all things, and nothing in the heavens or the earth but God sufficeth. Verily, He is in Himself the knower, sustainer, the omnipotent.
Thank you, Andy. It's so
Welcome
good to hear
back,
your
Andy.
music again.
Thank you.
We're so glad you're here. Thank you.
Thank
Is
you.
there anyone else who would like to share?
Sure, let me do this.
Please
What is
share.
it? Yes. Glory to thee, O my God. The first stirrings of the spring of thy grace have appeared, and clothes thine earth with the door. The clouds of heaven of thy bounty have rained their rain on this city, within whose walls is imprisoned him, whose desire is the salvation of thy creatures. Through it the soil of the city hath been decked forth, and its trees clothed with foliage, and its inhabitants gladdened. The hearts of thy dear ones, however, will rejoice only at the divine springtime of thy tender mercies, whereby the hearts are quickened and the souls are renewed, and the trees of human existence bear their fruits. The plants that have sprung forth, O my Lord, and the hearts of thy loved ones have withered away. Send down upon them from the clouds of thy spirit that which will cause the tender herbs of thy knowledge and wisdom to grow within their breasts. Rejoice then their hearts with the proclamation of thy cause and exaltation of thy sovereignty. Their eyes, O my Lord, are expectantly turned in the direction of thy bounty, and their faces are set towards the horizon of thy grace. Suffer them not through thy bounty to be deprived of thy grace. Potent art thou to Potent art thou by thy sovereign might over all things. No God is there but thee, the Almighty, the help of pearl, the self-subsisting. That's your prayer and meditation.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry. Is there anyone else who would like to share?
و لبها ای جمال ابها ای حضرت کبریا این سرگشتگان گمگشتگان کوی توان و سودایان روی تو عنایتی فرما تا قلوب جلوگاه روی تو گردد و صدور آتشکده های پرسوز انوار اسرار بر سرائر بتابد و پرتو بینش بر بصائر زند عینا.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to share? Well, then, thanks for everyone who shared a prayer, song, chant. It's always important that we share that this is a community effort, a joint community effort. We always at the Sunday devotion, always at 10 o'clock. We're talking about changing, but we don't know that that's actually going to happen. We've been talking about that for a long time. Or maybe I say
Yeah.
I've been talking about it for a long time. But for anyone who is, first of all, I'd like to say thanks for everyone who participates. The Clearwater community, Clearwater Baha'i community, who allows us to stream, and Daryl, who comes a long way, and people who share here, and Jeremiah, who's our tech person, everyone who helps make this possible, and Mike and Nevada, who help even here locally prepare breakfast and so forth and so on. So yeah, but the point is, it's people coming together to create what we hope is a valuable spiritual experience, even if some people happen to get a little silly sometime. I won't call names. Um, but if you are interested in learning more about the Baha'i faith, there are some very good, definitive, authoritative sources you can go to. And what are some of those sources, Daryl?
They are www.baha'i.org, www.baha'i.us, www.baha'iteachings.org, or the Clearwater Baha'i website at www.clearwaterbaha'is.org.
Yes, 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 yes. And we mentioned this last week, but I think I'm going to start trying to mention this a little more without belaboring it the way I often can do. But you may be someone who actually decides to, I'd say, take another step. And if you're wondering how to actually join the faith as a Baha'i. We have many people who are friends of the faith, but if you're someone who's interested in actually joining the faith, um, it's a pretty simple process. It's filling out a very brief form, and as you pointed out last week, it's just mainly for administrative purposes. But it is that accepting that Baha'u'llah is indeed a manifestation of God, that He does bring a new revelation, and it is the revelation that has been prophesied in previous revelations. But as far as filling out a form, it's really so you can become an official part of the Baha'i community. And receive literature and so forth. We do get letters from the National Spiritual Assembly and from the Universal House of Justice, and you'll learn a lot more about how to access Baha'i-based material. And so I just wanted to point that out. And we have just a minute here. I just want to do something here for a real second. Hey, cousin John. Hello, Olga. How are you? I just wanted to do that because people. Oh, and Camby's is with us on Facebook.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Good morning, Kambiz.
Yes, yes,
Good
yes.
morning, cousin John.
Yes. Yes. And Olga, all the way over in
And
Russia. We're
Olga.
so glad you're joining us. Um, so yeah, again, we like to point those things out. Now, Daryl, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I kind of sidelined things today. I kept interrupting even more than usual and trying to wrap my brain around these very, very, very deep concepts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. We have a question here from Nini. Yes, Nini.
My question is, I don't think you say before. Actually, this Sunday devotion is not just for Baha'i, so non-Baha'i is welcome.
I'm glad you're
Thank
pointing out.
you
Yes,
for
non-Baha'is
pointing
are
that
always
out.
welcome. Always,
Even
always.
no religion or as myself as a Christian, I think it's welcome, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, yes. It is not just for Baha'is. It is based on the Baha'i writings, but it is not just for Baha'is. And I need to point out that while we study books about that are either related to the faith or even scripture as we are now, that is revealed by Baha'u'llah and or Abdul Baha, it is not that we disparage or don't agree with the scriptures of previous revelations.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just that, we want to bring attention to and teach about this faith. And while it is all connected, we do believe in the concept called progressive revelation, where God has revealed His word throughout all the ages of man. Uh, this is the Baha'i or the revelation of Baha'u'llah. And Baha'u'llah is the manifestation of God for this day. But yes, all are welcome. People who choose to learn more about the faith or simply want to go on a spiritual walk, we simply call them seekers.
Sure.
And if you're a seeker, you are 100% free to join us. Thank you for pointing that out, Nini.
Thank you.
Yes. So, Daryl, anything else you want to say before we,
Well, just the thing that I always say, and that is if you happen to be a person who is loved, you are truly blessed. If you happen to be one of those blessed people and you share that with the rest of the world, I guarantee you the world will be better. So I only have one request: share that love, please. Thank you for joining us.
O people of justice, be as brilliant as the light and as splendid as the fire that blazed in the burning bush. The brightness of the fire of your love will no doubt fuse and unify the contending peoples and kindreds of the earth, whilst the fierceness of the flame of enmity and hatred cannot but result in strife and ruin. We beseech God that He may shield His creatures from the evil designs of His enemies. He verily hath power over all things. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Oh, let it be world embracing. Thank you, folks. Have yourselves a good week. Share some love. It's not that hard to do.
Allow up our
Allow